Hello everyone and welcome to whatever the name of this channel is. I actually haven't even made the YouTube channel yet. I got my camera out because I was about to sit down and start planning for the upcoming D&D game that I'm going to be running, which is Waterdeep Dragonheist. You can see my camera in the reflection because it's so glossy, except on the back because it's partially glossy. But the point is, I'm going to actually be running this for some friends. Now, me and my friends, we've been playing for the last 5 years or so, ever since 5th edition came out, and we've played through almost all the stories. We started with Phandalin, and there's another guy in the group, he mainly runs them, but occasionally he wants to play, so we step up and we either run one-shots for a couple months, or we run short stories from things like Yawning Portal, or sometimes I run a story. So we played through Phandalin, and that's where we first began. Then we tried to go into a bit of a homebrew thing, and we all died. After that, we moved into Out of the Abyss, which was run by the other DM. And at the same time, in tandem with that, I was running on Wednesday nights The Curse of Strahd, which is by far the best story ever. If you're a new DM, I guarantee you The Curse of Strahd is a good story to run. You will not regret it. Play Phandalin and work your way into it if you really want to. And anyway, after that, the same DM also ran the Storm King's Thunder campaign once we were finished with Out of the Abyss, and then also the Tomb of Annihilation. He's kind of the main DM, but occasionally he wants to take a break, and so like I said, we step in. And so now I'm stepping in with Dragonheist, and I thought to myself, you know what? I've only ever seen people review books, and I've only ever seen people record their own sessions, and there's nothing wrong with that. The reviews are fantastic, and the sessions, depending on who you like and the playstyle you like of certain players, are fun. But I haven't seen, and maybe I just haven't looked hard enough, but I haven't seen anyone really kind of document the DM side of the screen. So welcome to the DM side of the screen. I hope that name's available. That's a good name. The DMside. Welcome to the DMside. It's probably taken, so I might have to throw in the DMside 641. And that's my voice for telling you about things. You'll hear it with many of my noble characters. But moving on, so I figured I would create this sort of vlog series where I sit and I talk to the camera about how the session went and what I'm planning to do next. Now, as for the first session, obviously it won't be how the session went, it'll be talking about what the book, the overview basically is, and what I'm expecting from my players. And there will also be a video on who the characters are once I have all their backstories, and we'll get some images up and some editing. Every Sunday we play, so after Sundays, maybe, well, let's say maybe Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I'll also upload a recap of the story, where we are so far, what actually happened, and that'll be more of a storytell, so there'll be no real face to camera. I'll actually have images come up, and I enjoy the editing side of things, so we'll put some images up, and I'll take you on the journey of where the characters went and how they screwed with all my plans. Every time. I ran Princes of Apocalypse actually, and I am telling you right now, spoilers alert if you're playing it, turn the video off or skip ahead. I might put a timestamp down in the comments below so that way you at least can skip. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Every single time I ask them, hey guys, what do you plan on doing? Where do you plan on going? Which one of these little hideouts do you think you're going to go to? The next elemental dudes are you going to go and check out? And they would be like, you know, we really want to go over here to the wind dudes. Or, hey, we're planning on going to the pirates because we're going to deal with that loose end. And I would be like, yeah, great, perfect. And then they didn't. They went, oh, let's go that way instead because we haven't seen that. That's different. We know what's over at the pirates. You know what happened with Curse of Strahd too? I didn't want to get started on that. Every single game. Every game. Maybe like 5 sessions in a row. I was like, well, you know what, guys? I haven't prepped this, so I guess I'm not going to throw that book. I guess we'll just have to wing it. And you know what? That's one of the best parts of D&D is you actually do wing it a lot, and so much joy comes out of it when it goes well, and so much dread comes out of it when you think, this isn't working. But the best part is the players have no idea what you've prepped anyway, so never admit. Top tip number 1, never admit that you haven't prepped. But this is my proof. If my players ever watch, this is the proof that I prepped. So, this is going to be a video series of me prepping and telling you what I'm planning on doing, what I'm planning on happening, what I think's gonna happen, and diving a little bit maybe into the lore of what's happening, because I'm gonna learn stuff like characters and lore while we play. So maybe we can learn along with each other. And then also it'll be a nice edited recap of what actually happened in the session. So I guess we're looking at maybe 2 videos a week, unless the videos aren't long enough, and so I'll just put them together and go, here's the story so far. Dun, 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 dun. Story, story, story. Okay, great. Welcome to the camera side of it. The DM side of it, 641, where we are going to talk about it. Where to start? So basically we're going to be starting in the Yawning Portal, which is where the book says to start. And you have some options here. Do the characters know each other already? Are they already put together as a team? Are they being hired? And so this is their first meeting, or do they not know each other? Now, being together already as friends, I've actually encouraged my players to build each other into their backstories. Not all of them, just 1 or 2 maybe. And some of them have done that, which is awesome. So they'll at least know each other and have some history. Then there's the other option, which is that they have been asked to come to the tavern for something, so they're meeting someone. The book gives you the option of them meeting Volo, who is going to hire them to rescue his friend or find his friend Floon. But then there's the last option, which admittedly is very difficult because it's all about them just being in the tavern, and there's that awkward time of being like, okay, we've got to be friends now, and we're gonna go on adventures together, and making friends is difficult. Why was it so much easier when we were kids? It was just like, hey, you're my best friend now. Now you're not. Now you are. Now you're not. Now they are. Now you are again. Haha, you're my best friend. But in D&D, it can take about an hour of them convincing each other why they need to work together, when we all know that if you say no, your character has to then leave and you need to bring in your very first backup. So to get around that, we're going to go straight into the action. I'll explain the scenario, the setting that they're in, the Yawning Portal, who they can see, what they can see, and what's sort of happening, and then all of a sudden a fight breaks out. And it's between the Zentarum and Xanathar's guild. Now, Xanathar's guild are the character who they'll be witnessing in the fight is a half-orc woman named Yagra, and she has been outnumbered 5 to 1, although she is holding her own. But the problem is my players may want to jump in. So that's really interesting. Who do they help out? Do they help out the one that is being beaten down by 5 people, or do they help the 5 people beat down the half-orc? Which I'm not expecting. My players are relatively good-natured characters, so I'm expecting that they're either going to help Yagra, or I'm expecting that they're going to go, you know what, we don't want to get mixed up in this so early on, we're just going to let it happen. Obviously, someone has offended somebody, we're going to watch it. And then, so that'll influence whether Yagra likes them later on in the game, or whether the Zentarum maybe have seen them as helpers to help them in stopping her from beating up their boss, essentially. Or no one knows who they are and they've just been innocent bystanders. After that, after our mini hook, if they don't take that, instantly, oh no, a troll is coming up. Bam, troll is crawling up out of the well, and it's disgusting, it smells awful, and Dernan, the tavern owner, is just like, righto, everyone, let's get in it, and most people will go, let's get out. So that's their big hook. They are going to jump into that. If they don't jump into that, well, they're going to get attacked and probably killed. I mean, they're level 1. It's going to be a really dangerous encounter for a troll. To be attacking them. But this is where Volo gets to see them in action. And that's the whole point, because after this, Volo turns up and says, oh my goodness, you are going to find my friend Floon, and I am going to pay you. But I don't have the money right now. I can give you 10 dragons apiece, and I'll give you the rest of 100 each after you find my friend Floon. Now, there'll be a bit of conversation there. We, as players, have actually met Volo before in a different story, I won't say. And so that's going to be really fun, because I'm going to get to play on that and be like, oh, I just came back and I have all this money now, and I got it from, not a fool, but from someone who decided to buy my book. Do you know I'm a famous author? Would you like an autograph? It's only 7 nibs. And yeah, and so we'll have a bit of a laugh about that. From then on, we're going to run Finding Floon. This is a great time for all the players to explore Waterdeep and see what it has to offer. It's a bit railroady, but I'm going to try and let it be as flexible as possible. I'm going to kind of let them run the story, even though there is a clear end to Finding Floon. And I don't actually think we'll find him in the end. I think for the very first session, we will get about halfway, because I think they're going to really want to do a lot of investigating, exploring the city, meeting some NPCs, and seeing what information they can gather, not only for the Finding Floon task, but also for themselves, because as players who have been playing for 5 years, they're going to have quite detailed backstories and wants and needs, and they're going to give me lots of good things to play with. But we'll get into that into our next video. This Friday, most likely, because I'll film on Thursday, I will introduce you to their characters. I won't put on any voices because I don't know who they are. So it'll be more of a storytelling where I read out their backstories and give you my opinion on things that can come to them in the future. So, thank you very much for watching. If you love this idea and you want to be you want to join us on the journey of D&D and being behind the DM screen, DMside 641, maybe that's the name. I hope it is. Then subscribe to the channel, comment below anything that you find necessary, even if it's just a hello. And I'll see you in our next video on characters.